and then third there, and then it just comes back up.
Nice.
And then you could go fourth, but pit lane ends. So, thank you. Top Rat liked it. I'll just retire now. Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to Visordown. My name is Toad, and today we come to you from Portugal, where we have been on the launch of Triumph's really very excellent Speed Triple 1200 RS. So this is obviously the second real generation of the 1200 Speed Triple format, and for some unknown reason, unknown to all of humanity, Triumph decided to fly us to Portugal in March, which is always a ridiculous decision. I was here on the Fireblade and the CBR launch last year at exactly the same time, and it was biblical rain for the entire thing, and it's basically been the same. That hasn't dampened what has been a very fun press launch, and it's all been because of this thing, and I'm going to tell you why. Before I tell you why, I'm going to tell you the what, and that is what's new and what the new Speed Triple is all about. So first up, this is 17495 in the UK, and it is the only Speed Triple that you can buy because Triumph have said RIP to the Faired RR version. God rest its soul. So we've got more power, we've got new Ohlins suspension, and we've got a new design, more aggressive sort of styling and aesthetic, and we've got all new electronics, which I can tell you are very good. So the engine is pumping out 180 bhp or 183 PS, and that comes in at 10,750 RPM. It's obviously got bags of torque. It's a Triumph Triple, and it's got 94 pound-foot, which is basically everywhere in the rev range that you would ever need it, and it never seems to run out of shove or grunt on that respect. Engine-wise, technically, you've got a new freer flowing exhaust system, which is one of the ways that they've unlocked that extra power. You've got new cams as well, so slightly different, more high-lift cams, and you've got a new balancer in the engine as well. A real talking point for this bike, though, is the new suspension system. So this has got the latest generation Smart EC3 Ohlins semi-active electronically adjusted suspension system. This bike only ever had manually adjusted suspension. If you wanted the semi-active kit, you had to go and buy the Speed Triple 1200 RR, the Faired bike that's just been discontinued. But not even that got the system that this has got. That got the EC2, this is the EC3. And I think there are only 3 of the bikes in the market that use this system. And they are the latest generation Panigale V4, the latest generation Streetfighter V4, and the CBR 1000RR Fireblade. So this is real top spec premium stuff that Triumph have added to the bike. And whereas all the other bikes in that bracket that have got this kit cost well over £25,000, this thing is under £18,000, which is a bit of a bargain. Another change for the bike is, as standard, it's rolling on Diablo Supercorsa SP V4 tyres. I believe it's V4, the latest generation tyres that are Supercorsas from Pirelli, which have been very interesting. So here is the new Speed Triple 1200 RS. We have had one solitary dry session, and then in session 2 it started to bucket it down, so we had to come in because it was just getting too dicey. So we've done some bike to car tracking, as you can see the tracking car just over there, but we've done that on full wet tyres, but the full wet tyres haven't been in warmers for very long. These tyres have been in warmers for about 20 minutes or half an hour, so it's still sort of miserly, drizzly, nasty, dirty, horrible rain. But we're going to give it a go. We're going to see how it handles the wet. It's got advanced electronics that have been massively improved for this year, so we've got to try and test those out and see how the traction control handles it. So, stay tuned, and fingers crossed, it's as good as they say it is. Braking system is all very familiar. We've got Brembo style Lemma calipers, we've got a Brembo MCS span and ratio adjustable lever, you've got 10mm wider bars than before, you've got 199 kilograms wet and ready to ride, and that is wet with 90% fuel, which I think is pretty bloody impressive. And you've got new wheels, so they're a few hundred grams lighter at each end than the previous wheels. They're a new design, they look nice, they reduce inertia, so it's a win-win on the wheel front. I'm going to get straight into the riding review, really, because it's been the most typical Portuguese weather that I've ever encountered. One minute you can have bright sunshine, blue skies and little white fluffy clouds, and the next minute you will have black skies and sideways rain and you cannot predict it whatsoever. So they've had to be very fluid with the schedule. I'm going to talk about the track first and then talk about the road, because we did a day on track and a day on the road. So starting with the track, I did only get one dry session on the bike when we were rolling on the stock super coursers, and it was kind of mixed, dry, sort of a little bit damp in places, and then there was a little bit of light rain that sort of wetted the track, and then it stopped and then it dried out again. So it was a real mixed bag in that first session. Not a lot to take from it, because the last time I was here I was on two very different bikes, the CBR and the Fireblade, so it was more just a case of reacquainting myself with the circuit. In that session though, it still felt ridiculously quick. Obviously a bike like this around Portimao is going to be a really enjoyable thing to ride, because this thing loves to wheelie, and this track has got a lot of opportunities for you to do that just off the power, off all the little crests. It still feels ridiculously quick on track. I mean, feels like it's got quite a short final drive ratio, so it just pulls really hard in every gear and never really seems to run out of puff. The grunt and the power are, like I said, they're really everywhere, and that's one of the things about this engine in the super naked class, is it offers you something different in terms of the engine power delivery, the torque delivery, the engine character. It's just a nice thing to have a super naked that's got an inline 3-cylinder in it, just to combat the V4s, the crossplanes and the inline 4s that we've got in that particular segment. So that's all very much like the last Speed Triple, the last generation 1200. What isn't anything like the last generation Speed Triple is the handling dynamics of it, because although Triumph have kept the frame very much the same, and the weight is very similar, I think this is a kilo heavier than the previous generation bike, what has changed is the handling, and it's all down to this Ohlins Smart EC3 semi-active suspension. It has transformed the Street Triple from quite a harsh, very sort of firm suspension, didn't have much flex in it at all. It just felt unforgiving and felt a little bit unapproachable. It's completely changed that. It's so much more supple at both ends. You get so much more response from the suspension. When you apply the brake and apply the accelerator, you get a nice reassuring amount of dive without the bike going too far or getting unsettled at all. Same on the brakes. You get on the brakes and the suspension is just there to support you. So the latest EC3 system basically breaks down the corner into all its different parts. So when you're in the braking phase, it will give you the preload in the front forks to allow you to brake, and when you're releasing the brake to get into the apex of the corner, it will apply more rebound damping to make sure that that rebound when you release the brake is nice and composed. And then at corner exit again, it's just looking after the rear end of the bike to make sure that the back end doesn't squat and the front end doesn't lift, and it's doing that seamlessly. I've said it before, it's literally like having a suspension technician crawling around the bike doing all the little grub screws and everything else while you're riding it. It is absolutely incredible, and it just made it such a pleasurable thing to ride on the track. The previous bike I'd ridden on the track, I'd ridden it on the track in the wet, I'd ridden it on the track in the dry, and even at Donington Park after the launch of the original 1200R RS, we sort of all came in and said, can you just make it a little bit softer, because it feels very unforgiving, very firm and very stiff. So that system has completely transformed the handling of the bike, which is absolutely brilliant. The damping is one of the standout features, in that it just feels so controlled and so finessed. It's just a really lovely thing to ride. I would say probably I prefer the setup that Triumph have applied to the Speed Triple than the setup that Honda had applied to the CBR 1000 that I was riding here this time last year, just because of that suppleness and that forgivingness that it gave the Speed Triple. It was absolutely brilliant. What I also learned is that Pirelli race wets and a Speed Triple make for a very good combination, because I've ridden on wets here before, obviously exactly the same wets on the Fireblade launch, but I didn't feel as comfortable pushing on those bikes as I did on this one. And it's down to the latest generation tyres, the forgiving suspension of the Speed Triple, and also the ergonomics of it. Obviously sports bikes, you're all tucked in behind the fairing. It feels like a very serious place to be. On this, you've got acres of room. You can move about the bike nice and easily. It's nice and comfortable as well. The seat comfort's very good, so you just feel at home straight away when you get on it, and that just translates into a much easier and much more pleasurable riding experience out here on the track. So my time on the track, apart from it starting to rain every time I went near a motorcycle, was a lot of fun. And then we had the road day, which I'm going to go on to now. And again, we weren't lucky with the weather at all. It's been absolutely biblical. My boots are full of water, my leathers are sopping wet. overall, it's not been much fun. What has been fun is this, and it's really for all the same reasons that it was fun on the track: the supple suspension, the nice power delivery where you've got the power anywhere that you need it, the crisp throttle connection, all of that good stuff. That made it great. What was genuinely awe-inspiring was these Pirelli Supercorsa SP V4 tyres that Triumph have put on the bike as standard. Obviously this bike has got the race wets on because it's just been out on the track, but the standard Pirellis, I've never ridden a Supercorsa tyre in the wet and felt as at home on the tyre at lean angle as I did today. I mean, the temperature was down below 10 degrees at some point. It was sideways rain. There was absolutely zero temperature in the Supercorsas, and I was riding a bike with road traction control, road ABS, and 180 bhp, which should be making me shit my pants every time I open the throttle, but it genuinely wasn't. And you felt like you could push on, you felt you could carry lean angle, and you actually felt like you could take a bit of the braking into the corner apex with you on the road. I've never had that experience. Normally, Supercorsas on a cold road in the rain, it is a recipe for finding yourself at the bottom of the nearest ditch, but that wasn't the case on this bike. And yeah, I know most of the credit for that has to go to Pirelli, because they designed, they made the tyres, they've changed the compound for the latest generation ones, and that has worked absolute wonders for the tyre. But a lot of it has to also go to Triumph, because the electronics, despite being in road mode, not road ABS and traction control, not rain, they were still working so fantastically well. I think I only had the ABS cutting in a couple of times on the front end as I was braking into a downhill hairpin, but it was so finesse with the way that it cut in and the way that it retained the pressure in the lever, and I could still apply a bit of brake if I wanted to. It was just absolutely brilliant. And likewise with the traction control system, I only got the rear end lighting up once, but when it did, the traction control just intervened nice and cleanly, got me back on the straight and narrow and sent me on my way. That's not the case of the previous bike. I'm pretty sure if I'd have been riding an old generation 1200 RS on those roads today with the last generation tyres fitted to it, I would be at the bottom of a ravine right now wondering what the hell had gone on. I know I've gone on for quite a long time, but there's a lot to talk about, so I'm going to move on to the electronics. Now, all of the electronics on all of the top level super nakeds and sports bikes are phenomenally clever. Mostly they are probably cleverer than most riders who ride them. The system that Triumph have adopted for this are incredible, and there is one standout feature that I have really enjoyed using around here at Portimao, and that's kind of why they brought the bikes here, and it's the wheelie control. I am perfectly at home and comfortable with saying that I'm not the best at pulling wheelies. I am basically not very good at wheelies at all. Haven't got much confidence once it's in the air, and I can just about hold it up there. But today, with the wheelie control that's fitted to this, I've been getting up the gears, going through the gears. I wheelied all the way down the waterfall at the back of the circuit here. So went off the first kicker and then wheelied over the top and then wheelied all the way to the bottom of the waterfall and then went through the next third gear left-hander. And I would love to say that that was my skill with the throttle and the back brake and my balance and my ability keeping the front wheel aloft, but it wasn't. It was the system on this. It basically allows you to full throttle it in second gear, the front wheel will come up and it won't go any higher, but you can still modulate the level of the front wheel. And if you keep it pinned, you can just go up through the gears, third and fourth gear, and the front wheel will just stay there. You've got different levels. One is like 50 mil. Level 2 is 250, level 3 is like 300, and level 4 is like 600 mil in the air, and you can literally foolproof. Anybody can wheelie this thing with that system turned on. Absolutely incredible. If you've never been very good at wheelies, get yourself a Speed Triple 1200 RS and give the system a go, because it is absolutely mind-blowingly clever. There is some video footage of me wheeling down the main straight at Portimao. I'm not good at wheelies, and this is what I could do. So there we have it. It is easily the best handling and probably the fastest Speed Triple to date. It didn't really need much of an update, in all honesty. The Speed Triple was pretty good. It was just a bit harsh, a bit crashy, and it just needed a bit of a fettle in the suspension. And that's what Triumph have done. Like I said, this is an evolution of the bike, not a revolution of the bike. It didn't need that for its second major update. Importantly though, what Triumph have done, every single thing that Triumph have done to the bike, and there's quite a bit, has improved it massively over the previous generation, but they haven't steamrolled the character or the DNA of the Speed Triple. It's still very much that bike and completely unmistakable. Well, listen, folks, I've gone on for far too long. My name is Toad. You are watching Visordown, and if you've liked that video, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you can stay up to date with all of Visordown's latest videos. And for the latest news, reviews, and motorcycle features, get yourself over to visordown.com.